Having casual sex makes me promiscuous or slutty. Okay.
I heard no problems.
Moving on.
Mid-sex cries are great.
I'd be so into a mid-sex cry, which always confused. Like, did you like it? I'm like, I loved it so much. That's why I'm crying. It feels so good. The 10 beliefs that are holding you back from having the kind of casual sex that you desire. Hi, I'm Caitlin V, sex and relationship coach, and I am joined today by my friend, Billy Procida, host of the Man Whore podcast. And today I'm going to throw each of these 10 tips that I've compiled at Billy, and we're going to get his thoughts on them. Are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for communicating to see if I wanted to get going.
We're so good at this. It's almost like we practiced. Number 1, casual sex means I'm not serious about love or relationships.
That isn't true at all. I wouldn't try to seriously date someone I really only have casual sex chemistry with, and I shouldn't only try to have casual sex with someone I've got like romantic chemistry with. I try to just honor the connection for whatever that connection is. Because I'm not only going to want to sleep with everybody, I'm not going to only want to date everybody.
Perfectly said. I like to think of it as like concentric circles. Mm-hmm. Like the people that I'd like to maybe like marry or have in my life forever, people that I would like to have some kind of relationship with, some people that I'd like to have sex with. Not everyone's going to have those same in that order, but not everyone has to fit in the middle circle.
Exactly.
Well said. Belief number 2, I'm not attractive enough to have casual sex.
I feel like my entire sexual history proves otherwise. I don't know. I have had a lot of fun group sex and casual sex and dating at various body sizes of mine, with good haircuts, bad haircuts. That's a myth. It's all about the confidence.
It's totally a myth. And as someone who's been to my fair share of play parties with other educators and orgies, and I've seen a lot of people, literally witnessed a lot of people engaging in casual sex. I think that people who have never been in that kind of environment have a belief that it's all like six packs and fake boobs and like just a sea of really hot bodies. Yeah. And then that casual sex is like just for them. And I'm here to tell you, that's literally not the case. You will see the widest range of bodies and you will be like, wow, I didn't even know how sexy human beings were in every single shape and size and form and stature and color. And like, because it's not about what we've been told is beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's like about someone who's like in their body and like being erotic with it.
Do you have any idea how many women prefer fat Thor or thick Thor?
Thick Thor.
To the like normal shredded Thor? Yeah. Go check Reddit. They're into it. Have you ever been hit on by like a shredded guy, but so like meek and mild and not confident? It's fucking weird.
It is weird. Yeah. Right. Because
you have the pecs. Why aren't you acting like you have the pecs?
Well, because you could have all the pecs in the world and still not be confident.
Exactly.
We're going to get to that with number 10, actually. Stick around. Number 3, having casual sex makes me promiscuous or slutty.
And?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. What's the problem? Okay. I heard no problems.
Moving on. No, but for real, if you find yourself judging folks who have casual sex, but you would like to be among them, that's an internal belief system that is getting in the way. One of my favorite things I ever learned in coaching is you spot it, you got it. So if you're judging it in someone else, or if you really like it in someone else, it's a reflection of you, not of that person. So whatever you judge in other people, you judge them for having multiple sexual partners or having casual sex or sex outside of their relationship, understand that you have that in you, and the judgment that you are projecting onto them is really internalized, and that's for you to look at. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's nothing wrong with being promiscuous or slutty.
There was research done where people who had negative views on casual sex at large felt like their casual sex was like bad or negative, even though they were barely having any sex. And the people who thought there's nothing wrong with casual sex and who was having far more sex than the other people, that they were very happy with the casual sex that we were having. So your attitude about casual sex determines on if you're too slutty or not.
How much you'll be happy. Yeah. Nothing is good or bad. Thinking makes it so, right?
You should have the amount of casual sex you want to be having.
Amen. And let everybody else have the amount of sex they want to have.
Exactly.
What's in it for you to judge folks anyways? Mm-hmm. Number 4, I'll get emotionally attached if I have casual sex.
What do you think about this
Okay,
one?
that's a great question. Because I have multiple friends in my life right now who have taken themselves completely out of the casual sex pool because they keep getting emotionally attached to anyone that they have sex with. Now, these folks, both of these women, are in their mid to late 30s and want to have children. And so I think that there's a correlation there because of where they are in their sort of stage of development and what they're looking for. They really want to find a partner. They want to find someone to have a family with, but they're along in the meantime, they're still human and they still want to enjoy their bodies and the bodies of other people. I think for myself, I never had a problem having casual sex with someone and not falling in love with them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those people, they may not want to have the casual sex right now. They want to focus on finding that long-term romantic partner, someone to build a family with. But, and they're in their, mid, late 30s, whatever. But then in their mid 40s, they may have that and then go, okay, I think I'm ready for some sluttiness now.
Right.
I've been working with someone recently. She's like 58 years old, and now their kids are like fully grown. Now she wants to have a slut era. And it's like, amen.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Right. I think there is something to be said. If you find yourself engaging in sex frequently with another person and you find that is causing you to bond with them and they're not someone that you want to bond with, then you might have to take a step back from that relationship. You might choose not to continue to have sex because there is a cocktail of neurotransmitters and hormones that get released when we're doing sexy things with another person and we're orgasming. And like our body is telling us certain things, just like my body's like always telling me that like M&Ms and Skittles are a good idea. I can overcome that, but I also don't buy them and put them in my house either, right?
You're stronger than me. And if having that casual sex with someone, it keeps being too intimate for you, you keep getting attached, there are other ways to be slutty. If you're a woman who's saying, hey, I'm getting too emotionally attached, then don't have a bunch of casual sex, but you could go to a play party and just watch. Right. Or you could really get into finding the right kind of porn and sex toys you enjoy. There are other ways, or you could just go to a bar and be a big old flirt.
Number 5, casual sex isn't safe.
Well, there's no such thing as safe sex. There's only safer sex. Casual sex is a calculated risk of like a risk and reward. And like, yes, you are taking some risk, but many of us might think that the reward of pleasure and connection and orgasms is worth that bit of risk. And if you pair that with safer sex practices, you can really mitigate and minimize that risk.
I think that this is something that people who are maybe in judgment of other folks who are having casual sex say. It's almost like a diversion. Right? We do things all day, every day that are not safe, but we don't shame other people for doing them, right? Driving is inherently quite dangerous. Alcohol, there are a lot of things that increase our risk, right? And yet, I think when it comes to casual sex, if we have any amount of judgment, we're like, that's, not to mention all of the shame and stigma that is completely unnecessary around sexually transmitted infections, right? It's this sort of like noxious mixture between shame around these transmittable infections and diseases, shame around having sex to begin with, and sexual shame in general, and then maybe a feeling of like judgment or jealousy around people who are out there taking those risks. But I think we can appreciate that we don't apply that same level of judgment or those criteria to all of the risks that we are all taking all the time.
Someone will say, oh, if you have anonymous sex with a random hookup, you're risking your body.
Right. Okay, I'm fine with people, and I don't shame smokers either.
No, but this idea is like that you're only concerned about this like sexual bodily risk as opposed to all the other risks we take with our bodies for things that give you some pleasure.
Not to mention that we have a phenomenal and never-ending lineup of safer sex toys, tools, practices.
I think there's never been a safer time to have casual sex than right now.
Agree.
Not only with PrEP, now that they've got DoxyPep out there, there's so many ways to kind of mitigate your risks.
We've got like Lorals, latex underwear. Like there's this. It is sexy to be safer now.
Yeah. Whatever like protections you feel like you need, there's probably an option for it now.
Number 6, casual sex is only for people who don't want commitment.
That's absolutely not true. I'm a polyamorous dude. I have a girlfriend, and I also have like fun casual sex with other people. I am committed to this person here. I am having fun casual sex over there, and not for nothing, I am committed to my regular sexual partners in a way of like, again, respect, offering pleasure, friendship. Okay, friends with benefits. Don't forget the friends part. That's the first part of the term, right? Fuck buddy. There's a buddy in this term. Any of these terms for casual sex partners, there's always the reminder that like, yeah, there's some kind of bond that made us want to talk to each other for at least 5 minutes before we banged.
And there is a level of commitment inside of those relationships. Also, there are seasons to life, right? Sometimes maybe you just got out of a breakup and you want to be having some casual sex and you're not ready to commit to a person, but that doesn't mean that you never want to commit to another person, right? Like they're not mutually exclusive.
That was me 2.5 years ago. I was not in a place where I would be able able to commit to someone. So I had to be upfront and say, look, just had my heart mega broken. Here's what I can offer you. And I would say I can offer you like fun sex, great conversation, cool hangs, and that like I'm not only going to hit you up when I'm horny, I'm going to hit you up when I'm thinking of you. Because I think of these people because they're also my friends.
Yeah. Number 7, and this I think is really critical. I'm not experienced enough to have casual sex.
We all got to start somewhere, baby cakes.
That's it. No, but really, I get this a lot from folks who are commenting in my channel that they feel like it's a perceived lack of experience, first of all, because all of society tells men that they should have more experience, no matter how experienced they have. Sometimes I've talked to guys in coaching who tell me that they lack confidence because they're sexually inexperienced, who have had, a girlfriend ever since they were 16, went through a period where they were having a lot of casual sex, know that they can make a woman orgasm and squirt and all this, and they're like still believe that they're inexperienced because that is the mindset that we ask for men to have. So understand that might be your mindset, even though it's not true. Also, you have to start somewhere. Also, you can learn. They have 9 courses available right now where you can go learn how to be a better lover if you want to build up your confidence. Because sex is like anything else. You might not be. Most of us are not great at it just out of the gate, even though we are designed to do it. It's just like learning how to cook or how to drive a car. Some people are a little bit more naturally inclined to it than others. The rest of us can learn. And for those of us who are particularly unskilled, we can learn a little bit harder.
Be confidently inexperienced, right? I don't have a lot of experience giving anal sex. The people I've had anal with are so experienced, they're like, you can just go right in there. So if someone tells me like, hey, I really want you to fuck me in the ass, that'd be really hot. I just confidently say, super down to do that. I don't have a lot of experience in that, so can you you're gonna need to be able to walk me through it a little bit, guide me a little bit. There's nothing wrong with asking for some guidance.
Right, don't pretend that you have experience that you don't, which I think is another common pitfall that men fall into.
Yeah, please don't pretend that you are a BDSM dom if you don't have experience with that. Not only are you gonna make yourself look foolish, you actually might physically hurt somebody.
There's no shame in needing to learn about these things. There's no shame in admitting what we don't know. There's no minimum, you don't have to be this tall to ride, okay? Like, there's no minimum amount of experience that enables you to have casual sex, and I don't know how else you would get that experience unless you're doing it.
Yeah.
Number 8, I'll be judged for wanting casual sex.
Possibly, but we shouldn't care what other people think.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, you and I are privileged. We live in major cities. We have cool, supportive friend groups.
We have fun haircuts.
We have fun hair. We wear fun T-shirts. Like, no one is shocked.
Me.
No one is surprised when either you or I, and also we literally talk about sex for a living. Yeah. So we've got that all going for us. But like, what about someone who maybe lives in a less populated area with a less progressive friend group? And like they are worried about, but they want to be able to talk to their friends about hey, they want to have casual sex. Like, I agree with you. I don't give it, like judge away, right? Yeah. But do you have any other pieces of advice for someone who's concerned about it? I would say heal the part of you that is judging others. And
I think also have confidence in what you're doing. And let's say you're in a friend circle and you talk about like a hookup you had at the bar over the weekend, and they all go like, what? When you're acting confident in what you did and you're not acting weird when they're being weird, then they're going to feel weird. Like, wait, the script is I say that was weird or, just slutty to do. And they're supposed to cower in shame. And then I feel superior, but they're not cowering. So now maybe there's something wrong with me that I was judging in the first place. Be confident in what you're doing. Number
9, I can't trust people enough to have casual sex. I want to jump in with this.
Please.
Because you put out a great podcast episode on how to hook up with people on Reddit. And a big part of that episode was, as a man, how to be safe, not just appear as safe, because there's a difference there. You both must be safe and then also appear as safe. And I think that sometimes when I say like, I can't trust people enough to have casual sex, what I hear in that is I don't feel safe enough for maybe like my body to perform. Like maybe I can't get hard if I don't feel safe with another person. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But there is a bit of like, I don't feel safe enough to with other people to have casual sex.
And you talk about emotionally safe too.
I'm talking about, I wanted to cover physically safe right away because you did such a great job of doing that in that episode. But what do you think about emotional safety?
Emotional safety, I think that kind of comes back to like checking in with yourself of why am I off doing this in the first place? If it's for the wrong reasons, you might find yourself in sexually unsafe situations. You might agree to sex acts that may be a little bit above your pay grade at the moment. They might be a little too advanced for you, and you maybe need to start with something a little easier or basic. And don't be afraid to say no or to pause or tap out. I have stopped sex in the middle of the sex because like I felt like I needed to pause. I've had women say, hey, can we take a pause? Sometimes it's a timeout. Sometimes it's a full stop. And then we get into communication of like, are you okay? What can I do for you?
Right.
And I've had people do that for me as well. You know, especially after this really big breakup I had a few years ago. You know, there are a couple times like in the middle of sex, I'm getting emotional and I kind of need to stop. Partially so I don't like cry into someone's pussy, but you know, and that's okay. And I have found myself to be with partners who are very gracious about these things, and all they want to do is make sure everyone's having a good time.
I would be so into a mid-sex cry for myself or a partner. Love that.
Mid-sex cries are great.
I prefer. I'm more prone to a post-sex cry, which always confuses. Like, did you like it? I'm like, I loved it so much. That's why I'm crying. It feels so good. I also just healed some bullying from high school. Like, it all happened at once. Okay.
I really wrote it out of me. You know, it's
literally, yeah. Okay, last one. Casual sex will damage my self-worth.
If you're worried about that, I think you need to first examine like your own views on casual sex and see what that's about. Because if you have like complicated feelings about it, you're probably then going to have complicated feelings when you do it.
Right. And if you feel pressured to do it, you're pressuring yourself or someone else is pressuring you to do it, then like, yeah, I see how you might feel empty or hollow afterward because you did something that you didn't want to do that was vulnerable. But if it's something that you earnestly want to do and you're pursuing, like I didn't make a list of all the casual sex I've had before we sat down and I should have, but I cannot think of any time. I have a list. I have a list on my iPhone. I can't think of any casual sex that I've had where if I was into it, that I didn't leave it feeling more fulfilled than when I went into it. I can't think of times when I was particularly like younger or drinking where maybe I had casual sex and I didn't feel great about it afterward, but it didn't damage my self-worth. I think it was more just like I wish I hadn't done that.
It doesn't have to end the world just because it's sex. It can be just as kind of blasé as, ooh, I don't like that I took that route to work and maybe next time I'm not going to do that route.
Yeah. When I do that, I stub my toe and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move the table.
Life is full of breaking some eggs, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a huge deal. You can just be like, broke an egg, going to clean that up, going to try to be more careful next time.
Pick yourself up, move on.
Yeah.
Go get back on the horse and try again.
Yeah. If you have a lot of self-worth before you go into casual sex, there's really no reason why you should lose that self-worth afterwards.
And if you don't have a lot of self-worth before going into casual sex, understand that it's not going to be the place where you like necessarily fill that cup. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you loved this video. Go check out the Man Whore podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and I will see you here later. Bye.